I read this article on Yahoo Sports yesterday. It was more of an editorial, but it brings up an interesting question because Mariano Rivera is having probably the best start to a season he's had in at least 15 years. I mean, you know Rivera. Normally, he'll blow a couple saves in the first month of the season, and then he lights out the rest of the year. He hasn't even done that this year. He's 16 for 16 in save opportunities, and you know he's making the All-Star game this year. You know that without any sort of question.
He might have made it even if he wasn't having as good of a year last year. But
absolutely. He probably would have gotten it anyway, but now there's like no doubt he's going to get it. But given the way the All-Star games go, and you never know if there's going to be a save situation in the ninth inning. You never really know what order he's going to go in. Do you guys think it would make sense if Mariano Rivera started the All-Star game?
Not started, but he should be there.
Well, yeah, no, I think he's definitely going to be there. I don't think that part's really up for question. But I'm saying, you make the All-Star game a celebration of his career by doing that. And that would be a perfect way to do it. I mean, it would be a perfect swan song. Obviously, I'm not a Yankee fan, but I respect everything Rivera's done for the game. He's the greatest closer of all time, no question.
In the same respect, though, if he were to close the All-Star game, you could still make it about him bringing him in the ninth.
You could, but I'm saying if you start him off and figure, the starter in an All-Star game never goes more than 2 innings anyway. So you don't even have to pitch him the second inning if you don't want to.
Literally just give him it.
I think I would still just hold him off and let him close.
I don't think it's a terrible idea though, because let's say it's a blowout or something. Let's say the National League goes up 9-1, and here comes the ninth inning. Yeah, you put Rivera in the game, but it's not going to have the same feel. Even if they blast the Enter Sandman, it's not gonna have the same vibe as a Rivera save situation would. You know?
Yeah, but I just think that he is the ninth inning, and
yeah,
I think it would just be fitting for him to be in the ninth.
Ninth inning and Mariano Rivera do sort of
go
together. I think it would be
Connect.
cool. It probably won't happen, but I think it would be interesting if they let him start the All-Star game. No, I think it's an interesting idea.
I will say with the idea, I think it's a cool idea. If they did it, I don't think it'd be a problem. I don't think anybody would feel, I don't even think the starters that were voted in would find a problem with letting him take the start.
Yeah. I don't think anybody would have issue at all. Yeah.
And actually, we got to remember he is also
he did start off his career as a starter, if that's what you were going to say.
No, the game is in Citi Field.
Yes.
So, I mean, it is in New York for him. So,
yeah. And the other thing I want to bring up real quick, and then I guess we'll move to the Jordani Valdespin situation that you had wanted to get to. So Curtis Granderson came back this week, and he's really the first of the big Yankee stars to come back. And, even I got to give credit where credit's due. Vernon Wells has been doing a great job over the last month and a half. The fill-ins for them have been doing the job. And now that you get a guy like Granderson back, Hafner's missed a couple days, but he's supposed to be back. You look, and if Teixeira does come back by June 1st, maybe Youkilis comes back by June 1st, Yankees are 2 games in front for the division. They're about 10 games over 500 right now. The conundrum with Granderson is one we've talked about before, because I think realistically we've all agreed the Yankees probably aren't going to be bringing Granderson back. If you look, they owe about $70 million to the 3 big-name guys, Teixeira, A-Rod, and Sabathia. They're going to have to spend at least $20 million to re-sign Cano per year. And as much as we've disputed the sincerity, it does sound like they are serious about staying at the $189 million mark heading into next year. So with that, I think it's a safe bet. The Yankees are not going to re-sign Granderson. If Vernon Wells and all these replacements continue to play well,
Snapchat?
The question I have for you guys is, do you think the Yankees would consider...
Don't worry, keep talking.
Okay. Do you think the Yankees would consider trading Curtis Granderson if they could get some prospects that would refill their farm system?
Yeah, I think they would, because he's on the last year of his deal, and that's actually something that John Harper brought up to us months ago.
I have a proposal, actually, that I think would work out pretty good for you guys. For this to work, you would have to give Seattle the 48-hour window to renegotiate a long-term contract with Curtis Granderson. But I think Seattle is a team that is always looking for some star power, or at least a bat with a pulse in that lineup. So you go to Seattle, you offer Granderson, and what you would ask back in return is a young second base shortstop type by the name of Nick Franklin, who was a top 10 draft pick a few years ago and is on the cusp of hitting the major leagues. He was drafted as a shortstop, but he can play second base. I think it's a good idea, seeing as how we don't know what's going to happen with Derek Jeter next year. Franklin would actually be a really good coup for you guys. You guys would also get the left-hander, Danny Holson, who was the number 2 pick in the 2011 draft, but doing decent at AAA right now. And the third, would you take back Jesus Montero?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with actually something John put in our chat, and I don't think the Yankees are going to deal with the Mariners again. I just don't after the Pineda deal. I just don't think they're going to end up dealing with
Because of the injury?
Because of the injury, because of the way things shook out. I don't see them making another deal with the Mariners to send Granderson out there. I just don't see it.
If you take the Pineda trade out, because I get the point you're making, but honestly, I don't think anybody knew that was a possibility when the trade happened.
Yeah, I just don't. I just, with the way everything ended up shaking out and the way things worked out for both sides, I don't see the Yankees making another move with Seattle. I just don't.
All right, well, that type of
Not this soon after the last deal.
Well, that type of trade where you get someone who could, take over for Derek Jeter at shortstop in the future, someone who could help your rotation, and someone who could help your catching situation, because the guy Gary Sanchez is supposed to be the future, probably isn't going to be ready till 2015.
Yeah, that's fine, though, because I'll be honest, I really have no problem with, I know Cervelli's hurt right now, but
Yeah.
Cervelli and, Chris Stewart just playing. I like Cervelli. I think he's a scrappy player.
I like Cervelli,
he
too.
plays hard. I would have no problem having him being our starting catcher for another year or two until somebody else is ready. I don't think it's a move that the Yankees, and even they necessarily feel they have to make, because they could have made a move this offseason to get a catcher in, and they didn't do it.
There's a weak catching crop, though. After Russell Martineau, there really wasn't.
They didn't want Russell Martin because if they're going to have a guy bat 200, they might as well have Cervelli bat 200.
That's what I'm saying. They're really, outside of him, if you don't think he's a legitimate catching name, there were no legitimate catching names out there.